just being like a solid like rock that like is always like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I want to do. I think that's really important in a mid laner, is to have someone like that. And I think he really has like filled that hole on our team that we didn't really have before. And yeah, he's just been like a huge like help, not just in game but out of game as well. Like.
This is Azento from Esports Heaven, and I have here with me Wiggily from CLG, victorious over TSM, your perennial rivals. I want to just kind of first of all ask you, how does it feel to win? Because it's kind of been a while. So.
I mean, yeah, it feels really good. I think we really needed to get something on stage, like some type of result on stage, to prove to ourselves that like we aren't as bad as our record shows, because I think this whole time, even when we were losing, we had like pretty good like results in scrims, like we were doing fine, and then on stage something always would happen really poorly, and then we'd lose, and then there's a lot of negative feedback obviously that comes with that, and you're losing over and over and over again. So I think it was kind of just like a bad cycle we got into, and I think getting some wins will help turn that around obviously, but like not just literally, but also like just the whole overall atmosphere, I think, will get better.
Well, so let's kind of dive into that aspect, because CLG's been on this loss streak, and yet also the CLG brand is still pretty big. So how does it feel for you, I guess, combating that kind of negativity online through social media and things like that? Do you find it very difficult to do, or like what's your view on that?
I mean, it's something that's always like in the back of your mind, right? Like every pro that says, "Oh, I don't care about it at all," is probably lying. Like they care a little bit, right? Like everyone cares just a little bit about what people are saying about them. So to deal with that, I usually just try to focus on, what I can actually achieve to change that, right? Like going online and like feeling bad or like talking back to people isn't going to change anything. So for me, the biggest thing I can do is, play solo queue, focus harder in scrims, like try to figure out what I can be doing more, like watch VODs, just try to improve. So that's generally how I deal with like negative feedback, is just try to get better as a team, work with my teammates, and try to just focus on the next game.
So let's dive into the game, because just from, I guess, the outset of it, Ruin burned his flash in the very beginning, right? So it's like, did that change the whole game plan of how you were going to jungle?
Yeah, so well, I don't want to get into too much detail, but a lot of things went wrong in the beginning of the game, basically, and I was like, oh no, like, not this again. I think I had this idea to like, I knew they were going to split the map bottom, and then I was going to still go to my bot side, like tunnel over and gank them, and it was going to be a free kill if Tom like just flashed Qs, but then he missed the Q, and then I showed on a ward, and then it was still good for our bot lane, but it didn't turn out well. So like, basically all of the plans that we had going into game to like snowball the game just ended up failing. So we were like, okay, like,
what do we do now?
Like, what do we do now? So everything had to kind of be improvised, and I think I died for first blood. Yeah, I died first blood top, so it wasn't going too hot, but I don't think any of us really like lost focus in game or anything. It was just like, okay, this is the situation now. Our plan didn't work. Like, what are we playing for now?
So some would say that it would have been safer, I guess, to play full vertical jungle, right? And instead of after you take topside jungle, then you just go to their topside jungle, obviously. But did you know that they were also doing vertical jungling too?
Yeah. So. I did. It's just I knew they wouldn't expect me to be bottom at that timing, and pretty much if Tom like flash Qs.
Tom, to be fair, did get hit by that root from Senna. So it was
so basically everything went wrong, but in theory we should at least get one kill there and push the whole wave together, and it'll be good for me because I'll get the whole wave and a kill. So in that lane where it's like double range, they just want to keep hitting the tower, and if I show topside, right, like if they know I'm just vertically jungling, it's really bad for me and bad for my team. So I just wanted to like mix it up and surprise them. Fortunately, it didn't work, but it still like relieved a lot of pressure on our bot lane, and they weren't getting just hit on tower like 24/7 by Ezreal Senna. So even though it didn't feel the greatest for me, it ended up being actually a net positive for our team. So I think it was still fine overall.
So we finally got to see Ruin on Rumble again, and he was completely dominant. If people remember back in Spring Split, and it was on that pick as well too. He was one of the best Rumbles I think I've seen thus far. So why hasn't this been picked before?
Oh, in the beginning of the split, there's just a lot of bans on Rumble in general, just because it was an OP pick, or like considered an OP pick. So we were just getting banned like every single game on Rumble. Yeah, that was the biggest part. And then I think the meta shifted a lot away from Rumble, and I think we still had been playing it, but it's just for whatever reason, like we weren't even like planning on picking it today. It was just the way the draft went. So there's certain scenarios where Rumble is like a good pick, certain scenarios where it isn't, and for whatever reason, our games on stage and it just never aligned to like get a good Rumble situation for us. So
most recently, CLG has been criticized quite heavily, actually, from both fans and especially analysts about the draft. Do you think this is kind of a fair criticism, or is it more so just based on your guys' gameplay and team cohesion and whatnot?
Yeah, I think a lot of problems that we had, like I don't think any of us think that we're worse than any of the like middle pack teams, or even like like second, like everyone but C9 basically. But the problem was a lot of times, a lot of our drafts didn't have like a lot of synergy. Like we would go on stage with a plan in mind, it wouldn't fall through, and then we'd mess up something like 4-5 and get a weird draft that we have to like snowball really hard, or like do something really crazy to win the game. So I think as a team we kind of discussed that and like went over why we kept thinking that was happening, and I think we have a better understanding of what we want going into every game now. And it's really like helped calm I think the team down, because we know what we're playing more, and we have like more faith in our picks, because it's what we practice and it's like the style we want to play. So I think that's definitely helped us a lot.
So I know it's kind of somewhat of an idea or theory from the coaching aspect, in which a player will say, oh, I can play whatever, give me whatever, or I could beat this guy even if he gets this OP pick, don't worry about it, because I have kind of a counter or whatnot. So has that ever been going on within CLG for players to kind of be a little overconfident in picking certain champions?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it maybe has to do with that, but some of it's also just like sometimes like heat of the moment on stage, like someone sees something that they think is good, and most of the time you have to trust your teammate, right? But if it doesn't pan out, then it's like, oh crap, like that actually wasn't good, and we have to talk about this now, So I think that happened to us a few times, and then in general we just didn't really have a good like idea of what we wanted in draft. A lot of our like drafts, we just didn't have a good idea of like, oh yeah, this is really good for us. So I think we just struggled with it a lot, and I think now moving into the second half of the season, we've definitely improved like quite a bit, like with our preparation, and just like players and staff alike have kind of aligned now, and we're more on the same page.
So finally, how has Pobelter kind of improved your overall team? Like what has he contributed that is different from Crown?
He's actually done a lot, I think, for us in terms of just communication and just being like a solid like rock that like is always like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I want to do. I think that's really important in a mid laner, is to have someone like that, and I think he really has like filled that hole on our team that we didn't really have before. And he's just been like a huge like help, not just in game but out of game as well, like VOD review, just helping everyone like try to focus on like what we need to improve on.
Yeah, because he was kind of a coach in Team Liquid, right?
So he's just been like an overall like just massive like positive to our team environment, like in-game, out-of-game stuff. So I think everyone just on the team really likes him, and it's just been like really fun working with him so far. He's just been just really like positive, like good person to add to our team, especially when we were going through such a rough time together with Crown. So
So you guys have kind of been flowing under the radar, just grinding and focusing. So it's probably been a minute since you've had a word with the fans. So do you have anything you'd like to say to your fans?
Yeah, I guess just keep that faith, I know it's hard as a CLG fan to hold faith, and I know it's a big meme, but I really do think that I said this last split during summer that, about how I felt about our team, and I actually think that this team has like a really, really high ceiling together. And although our record's really bad right now, I don't really think record really indicates a lot in spring split, especially when it comes to like the middle of the pack team. So just keep cheering for us. I'm pretty sure we're going to surprise a lot of people this split. So yeah.
Lose is improved, but also win is pretty good too. So
we definitely need some of those for sure. Definitely need some wins.
All right, this has been Azento from Esports Heaven and Wiggily from CLG. Thank you.
Thank you.